Why it sucked to be T-Rex. You open your eyes. It's pitch black, wet and warm. You don't know what you are, but something inside you whispers, run. The moment your shell cracks open, the world screams at you. Roars, tremors, something massive just moved and the ground doesn't feel safe. It feels hunted. You were just born. And you're already on someone's menu. Forget what you've seen in museums. This isn't some nature documentary where majestic dinosaurs stroll through fern-filled meadows. No. This is hell, 65 million years ago. And you're a snack with legs. Out here mercy is a myth. Every shadow has teeth. Every moment is a gamble. And your mother? She's not here to sing lullabies. She might eat your siblings just to buy herself another day. But you're different. You're not prey. Not forever. This is your story of blood, claws, survival, and the rise of a legend they'll never see coming. The rise of you. The last king. The T-Rex. You survive your first night by doing what most creatures your size don't. Nothing. You stay still. You stay hidden. You let Steve, the louder, dumber hatchling, crawl out first and draw attention. Steve didn't make it to sunrise. Your world is dirt, bone fragments, and the sour stench of something recently devoured. You don't have time to ask questions. Not when the sky screeches and shadows sweep low. Not when the ground trembles like it's breathing. This place doesn't raise children. Test them. And it's testing you right now. You're born with tools, 2 eyes like searchlights, each bigger than a baseball. Your vision? Sharp enough to track a fly blinking from 50 feet. Your legs? Long and coiled like springs, perfect for disappearing behind the nearest bush when something with claws steps into frame. You don't hunt yet. You scavenge. You wait until something else does the killing, and then you steal the leftovers. Rotten lizard? Half a tail? It'll do. Because starving is worse than shame. But with every passing day, your hunger sharpens your mind. You stop watching shadows and start studying them. You learn the rhythm of fear. When to move, when to freeze, when to fake being dead because the thing chasing you prefers a fight. You're not just surviving anymore. You're learning. And deep beneath that scaly skin, something stirs. An instinct, ancient and unrelenting. You are not meant to hide forever. You were born to dominate. The predator in you is waking up. Time doesn't pass here. It scrapes by, day after day of blood-colored sunsets and night skies howling with things you still don't dare to name. But you're still alive. And not just alive. You're growing. Your legs, once spindly and cautious, now thunder across the forest floor. Your steps send lizards fleeing and smaller predators rethinking their entire life choices. Your tiny hatchling frame has exploded into something heavier, faster, sharper. Bones denser than concrete. Muscles like coiled ropes under your skin. But growth comes with a curse. You're starving all the time. One moment you're watching a pack of ornithomimids drinking by the stream, the next you're inside the chaos. Lunging, ripping, feeding. You don't plan these attacks anymore. Hunger pulls the strings. You just obey. And every time your teeth sink into something still warm, a part of you vanishes. The part that once hesitated. The part that remembered Steve. Gone. Your jaws? They've become a weapon. 6,000 newtons of pressure, enough to turn bone into powder and muscle into paste. You used to bite to scare. Now you bite to end. One crunch and the world goes quiet again. But hunger is never satisfied. It evolves. You start craving precision. You don't just maul anymore. You decapitate surgically with the cold instinct of a natural-born apex. You discover the softest entry points. Behind the skull. Beneath the ribs. You want the heart, the liver, the rich parts. Because it's not just about feeding now. It's about dominance. About turning every kill into a statement. You were here. They were not enough. And deep inside something shifts. You no longer feel like a survivor dodging extinction. You feel like extinction with a pulse. And every creature in this prehistoric kingdom is starting to realize there's something new at the top of the food chain. And it walks on 2 legs. It begins with a scent, carried by the wind, cutting through blood and mud like it owns the air. Your pulse quickens. Not from fear. Not from hunger. Something else. You follow the scent through twisted trees and steaming rivers until you find her, standing in the clearing like a queen carved from obsidian. Her scales shimmer with battle scars. Her eyes hold no fear. She's massive, merciless, magnificent. And for the first time, you don't feel like a predator. You feel like a challenger. This isn't love. Not in the way soft-bellied mammals whisper it in the dark. This is war disguised as courtship. A high-stakes audition for survival's next co-star. And she's not impressed yet. So you perform. You charge a hadrosaur at full speed, rip it down in seconds, and roar so loud the trees scatter their own birds. She watches, unmoved. Then thunder. Another male steps forward from the shadows, bigger, older, bearing the stench of 100 battles. His eyes lock onto yours. You've entered his territory. No turning back. The fight is not elegant. It's chaos. Jaws snap. Flesh tears. Blood paints the ground. Your tail fractures his ribs, but he cracks your shoulder in return. Every moment is agony. But in agony you find clarity. You weren't born to flee. You weren't born to ask for anything. You were born to take it. And with one final blinding charge you drive him down, hard. He doesn't rise. You stand over the corpse. Bleeding. Breathing fire. You look to her. She approaches. Slowly. She doesn't speak. But she stays. And in this savage, brutal world, that is everything. You didn't just win a mate. You earned the right to continue your species, in a world that eats love for breakfast. You thought killing was hard. Try parenting. Your mate lays the eggs in a shallow pit you both clawed into the earth with the same precision you once used to tear open prey. 4 eggs. Fragile, warm, humming faintly with the promise of life. And just like that, you're no longer the center of your own story. Now you guard. You prowl around the nest like a loaded weapon, ears tuned to the flutter of wings, the crack of twigs, the eerie silence that always comes before a raptor strike. You haven't slept in days. You don't dare. Everything wants your children dead. Especially the things that crawl. Pterosaurs dive from the sky like knives. Tiny scavengers sneak in during storms. Even your own kind, other T-Rexes, would crush the eggs just to thin future competition. You know this because you've done it before. But not this time. This time you stay. And wait. 4 months of anxiety-fueled patrols and blood-stained warnings later, the first egg cracks. It sounds so small, it breaks something inside you. One by one they emerge, tiny, half-formed, awkward. Completely useless. Completely yours. They stumble. They squeak. They bite each other. You almost bite back. But you don't. Because something ancient takes over, the instinct to protect, to teach, to pass on everything you've clawed through to get here. You don't tell them the truth yet. That statistically most of them won't make it. That you've seen the way the world works. That out here mercy gets you killed. For now you just bring them lizards and circle the nest. Because for the first time in your brutal, blood-stained life, you're not hunting for yourself anymore. You're hunting for something that might actually outlive you. And that changes everything. You did it. You carved a kingdom out of chaos. Every beast from the swamp to the cliffs knows your roar. The air shifts when you move. The earth bends around your will. You are the apex, the terror, the myth whispered beneath leaves and bones. You're king. And yet you're alone. The rivers still run red. The skies still scream. But you walk slower now. Your steps carry more weight not from size, but from memory. You remember Steve. You remember the one sibling who didn't get eaten. You remember the first kill, the first challenge, the first time your mate brushed her snout against yours and didn't bite. The first egg to crack. The first hatchling to disappear. And now your children have left. Or died. Or become monsters of their own. You sit in the sun where you used to hunt. The silence is louder than the roars ever were. You hear something behind you. Not a threat. A challenge. A younger T-Rex. Bigger than you were. Hungrier. Dumber. Hopeful. He roars. You don't answer. Not because you can't. Because you don't want to. You've roared enough for a lifetime. Fought enough. Ruled enough. Let him have it. The throne. The violence. The illusion. You step aside not in weakness but in wisdom. Because the real secret? There is no crown. No glory. No peace at the top. Just more blood, more hunger, more eyes in the dark. You were king. Yes. But of what? A patch of dirt. A legacy no one remembers. A throne made of bones. And in the end, even legends rot. So you walk into the forest, alone. And the world forgets your name just in time for the asteroid. Millions of years later, a human child stares at your fossil in a glass case, wide-eyed, amazed, unaware. They call you a monster. A king. A relic. But you were none of those things. You were alive, fighting, loving, bleeding through a world that never wanted you to survive. And still you did. For a while. Now you're just bones beneath lights. A whisper buried in stone. But if they listen closely, if they lean in, they'll hear you. Still roaring through time. Still reminding them the wild never dies. It only waits.